is Edgar Zayas del Bosque from Mexico. Your referees for this match, left and right, are Dean Clayton and Jeff Williams, and your central referee for this match is George Terry, to be sure, to be sure.
Well, welcome back. And if you're just joining us this afternoon, the match you're about to watch is a special plate final for the boys. And on court, Edgar Zayas del Bosque of Mexico and George Parker of England. And as we've been saying all day, these may be plate finals, but there's some great talent on court this afternoon as we build up to our main event this evening, our two finals. And if you've not been following the junior championships, then cancel whatever you're doing this evening and come and tune in, because I'm sure you're going to be in for a treat with the squash that we have later today. Coming up after the special plates at 3 and 4 o'clock GMT +1, the finals take place this evening, but before that, at 5 o'clock GMT +1, we're going to have our third place match between Abdullah Al-Tamimi of Qatar against Richie Fallows, rising England star, and they'll be fighting out for third place at 5 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, we'll be having our ladies' final, the girls' final, where Noor El Shabini of Egypt will be going for a historic third title against fellow compatriot Mariam Ibrahim Metwali of Egypt. And it's all Egypt in the finals as we move on to the boys' final at 7 o'clock with Faraz Mohammed Dusuki, and he'll be taking on Karim El Hammami. And it's sure to be some fireworks, although there's a guaranteed Egyptian victory there. So joining me in the commentary box this afternoon in a short while will be Conrad Timmer, who's not a bad player himself, and he'll be giving some of his insight on this next match. And of course, the World Junior Championships are the place where we get to see an early glimpse of the future stars of the game of squash, as the winners here often go on to grace the game at the professional level. And of course, this is a great opportunity for these players to get some experience in the world stage, in an environment that you can't really recreate when you're training. The tension of a big final, the atmosphere, the crowds here really starting to fill up as the day goes on. They know that they're going to see some great squash here. And of course, to all of you watching around the world on the live stream, welcome to you. If you want to send me a Twitter, we're on hashtag WJSC2013, and send us your messages, your thoughts, your predictions on the results, if you like. So, looks like the players are pretty much ready to start. There's the England team A lot of support here, always getting behind each other when they're on court. Great coaching team, been working really hard with all the players and had some great results this week. Lyle Fuller there, the giant killer, and Richie, who we'll be seeing later on. And they'll be wanting to make sure that their man wins this. And Conrad, who's now joining me. Welcome again, my friend. This
Hello.
should be a great match, this one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one actually. I haven't seen the Mexican player play before, but I've been watching George Parker quite a bit this week.
And you start to sense as we go through these plates now onto the special plate. Maybe you could explain to people tuning in what the special plate is.
Special plate final. Special plate is the plate for the second match losers. So the players that got into
So they've
special
won their
plate
first match,
and lost the second.
lost the second, okay, and then won the rest.
Yeah,
until the
these
final.
guys won
Yeah.
everything else.
Okay. Well, as you say, even the first round losers were up against some very, very tough competition. But if you've won your first round and even made it to the second round,
I don't know who Zayas lost to, but George Parker went down to El Guarthi.
yep.
Serving, George Parker, England.
Okay, match underway.
Best of 5 games. Love all. Is left. Love all.
I actually watched George Parker play in British Open in the beginning of this year in under 17s. So he must just turned 17 this year. He still has another Worlds to go ahead of him.
That's a great backhand drive from the Mexican. Always good to find your length early on in a match. Sometimes it takes a little while.
Especially on this court, not all of the players were playing on the full glass court. We have another glass court in this club,
Yeah.
but it has a concrete front
Ooh, that's
wall.
straight in the nick at the back. A little bit of good fortune early on for Edgar.
Is left. To love. Is left. To love. Hand out. 1-2.
So what do you think, what's your prediction for this match, Mark?
Well, I've not seen much of either of these two players' matches. Obviously, there's been hundreds of matches going on this week, and you try and watch as many as you can. But I'm going to leave my prediction till after this first one, so I can have a little look. That's probably cheating, but
It is.
but I do believe that that we're now even on the beers after my correct prediction of the last match.
Definitely.
Yep. Do you have a prediction for this one early on? Get in first.
Me? I'll say 3-1 to George Parker.
3-1 to Parker. Okay.
3.
I actually haven't seen the Mexican player play before, so
Yeah, you're saying that.
it's
you're
all
saying
it's all a guess from me. We'll see how things unfold in this match.
that. Well, I'll go out on a limb just 5 points in with no inside knowledge like you, Conrad. And I'm going to say 3-2 to the Englishman.
Okay. Well, in last match it worked well. You didn't see any of them, and
but I tried to talk to the players because you get a real idea sometimes when you talk to the players, just how they're feeling, their confidence, their expectations, and that's a very big part of the game at this sort of level. The training's been done, the fitness is there, the technique is well established, and then it's really a case of applying that on the court and having the confidence and belief to win against the best players in the world, and to believe you're one of them.
yeah, I think mentally, especially in juniors, in your state of mind or emotional state is so important. If you're feeling happy and positive and worry-free, then you're going to play better.
Sure.
If something's there in the back of your mind, you cannot have anything else taking your focus away from you on court. You have to be in there 100%.
It's absolutely true, and as we saw yesterday in the semi-finals, the players that were getting aggravated, couldn't get comfortable on the court, arguing with the referees, these are the players that come out second, because that's a great bit of deception there. As with any sport, concentration is so important, so hard to do, but
5-2.
so good start for Parker.
6-2.
And that was an ace.
That's
Sure,
wow.
what happened there? Maybe it,
7-2.
that's 2 very easy points. The Englishman, I'm not sure.
Stroke to Zayas, hand out, 3-7.
It's a good rally here. Both of the players are doing a lot of work.
Four, 7.
Well, after a couple of very weak points from the Mexican, he seems that Edgar's up for it again. The England man just composing himself with a bit of lace tying there.
You did it a lot in playing.
He won't want to let this lead slip away easily, so
Definitely.
that's
That's his
quality
answer
try.
to the Mexican, trying to play and force his game onto George.
Just too many unforced errors from Edgar. He's looking to be breathing quite heavily. They've not had too many long rallies in this match so far.
Is left 9-4.
Well, Parker looking very much in control in this first game. Mexican not really settled down. He's played a little bit of nice squash, but he's not really seeing the ball too well at all. So Parker taking the first 11-4. should be quite an exciting evening tonight, as well as our 2 finals. We have the opening ceremony for the girls' team event, which starts immediately after this individual event finishes. So the arena is going to be buzzing tonight with excitement of these finals, and buzzing with the excitement of the team championship, which will be hotly contested over the next 7 days. We will of course bring you coverage of that later next week as well. So as we see, Parker pretty settled in this match, seeing the ball really well, hitting some great targets. Well, apart from that one. But pretty comfortable, 11-4, he'll be pleased with that. I want to make a good start in the next one, keep the pressure on the Mexican and make sure he can't settle down. As we saw in that replay there, the Englishman getting some good targets at the back in that first game, and this court really does reward good play and tight play. The ball doesn't really pop out as much as it would do on your normal club courts,
1 game to love.
so it really does reward hitting the targets front and back. So the Englishman's going to endeavour to do well. We talked about good length being rewarded, and that's a great backhand drive from the Mexican to start the second game.
As I said, sometimes if you're if the players didn't have the opportunity to go on this class court, it takes them a game to get used to the conditions, and then they play their own game.
Sure, I had the opportunity to have a little hit on the court earlier in the week, and it took about 15-20 minutes for me to really be seeing the ball well. Of course, the match could be over in that sort of time, so these players really under pressure to settle down quickly. With this par 11 scoring, you don't have too much time to find your way. Saw George tried to bring the Mexican in on the backhand side and flick it to the forehand, but the Mexican saw it very, very quickly and immediately had the Englishman in trouble. Forced the error there.
But there is a huge difference between the way Del Bosque is hitting the ball and moving around the court now in comparison to the first game.
Yeah.
More figure about him, or how do you say it, energy. Just it's great length.
That forehand side for Parker is harvesting quite a lot of points. He's finding the target. The Mexican's not being able to dig them out just now. Goes for the nick, misses. Again, cross into that forehand corner. Brings up another point. As you see, hit the target. It's good night.
Well, anytime Del Bosque has a little bit more time on the ball, he gets there and he really does some damage to George.
Went for the cross-court kill, caught the top of the tin. Now, Del Bosque has a two-point advantage. Drop shot exchange ends with the Mexican dropping it into the tin. Getting tighter and tighter.
Boys are just cleaning the glasses.
Yeah, I've been watching that this week. The regulations state that juniors have to wear the eye protection, which is always a good idea. But I was more thinking of getting a pair because taking the opportunity to clean them gives you a little time to take some air into the lungs. So I might get myself a pair just so I can use them for that.
Also, you play with the Polish players all the time. You have to be careful. Some of them have big swings.
That's true. That's true.
They don't quite know the difference between a letter stroke.
Controversial. Glad you said that, not me.
Well, I'm gonna say greetings to a club member from my hometown. He's a dentist. Everyone who is listening and knows what I'm talking about.
Well, maybe you should also say hi to everyone watching in Poland in your best Polish.
Hello.
Dzień dobry, witamy.
Pretty good.
7-4.
So,
7-4.
really sensing that we've got a match on our hands now. The Mexican has continued to keep his lead and extend it slightly. Now, at the business end of this second game, Parker is going, wow.
8-4.
I don't think I even saw that.
I think he read him pretty well.
Yeah.
8-4.
Hit that with huge confidence. Seems to be a bit of a swagger that we're seeing from Edgar now.
I think the Englishman really needs to stop going for it.
Oh, that's
going for the short one straight away.
that's what I love about your commentary, Conrad. Just as you say, you should stop going for these shots, and he whacks it straight into the cross-court nick.
And it works out well for him.
6-9.
A couple of very quick points, but still a 3-point lead for Edgar, which he's going to be confident about converting to a game. Oh, through the legs. Quick movement there. You don't want to get that one wrong.
Oh no, definitely not. Not at such a young age, especially.
Yeah, great speed, yeah.
It's a lot of work done now by Del Bosque.
He's got himself out of trouble and back in the rally, taking control.
That's a very good length.
It's very quick, yeah. There's a great attacking boast at the front there, and Parker not quick enough to get onto it and be able to do anything with it. Very, very low coming off the front wall.
10-6. Game ball.
So, 4 game balls for the Mexican. And there it is. It's a great length down the forehand side. And
One game all.
I think Zayas Del Bosque will be delighted with his work there in that second game. After a disappointing start in the first, match score 1-1. It's much tighter squash from the Mexican in that second game. Fast pace, aggressive, attacking squash. And look at this. Whoa! Through the legs. Great athleticism from both players. And the coaches now really earn their money, trying to make sure that the players have a plan, that their head is straight, and they know what they're going on there to do. It's so important to have someone in your corner, because there are things you see when you're watching a game that as the player on court you just sometimes aren't seeing. And even if you're winning, sometimes it's just good for a coach to remind you just to keep doing what you're doing. Very often players will change what they're doing when what they were doing was already working. So the job of the coach, absolutely vital in between these games. Just a minute and a half these players get. And they have to be back on court ready for some more brutal running, hitting. Squash, a game that requires supreme fitness to play at this highest level. So 1-1. We have now got a match on our hands for sure. And we saw George getting a little bit cross with himself at the end of that second game. And as long as he can channel that anger, that's okay. But as we've seen this week, very few players get angry and then go on to control themselves and win matches. It's important to focus and use that anger in the correct way.
That's very true.
Bosque, oh, he's recovered. Oh, that's great running. Look at that. Oh, it's just caught the top of the tin. But
that was very impressive.
You see, it's important to do that because he's showing Parker, you know, even if I'm on the floor, you've still got to put the ball away, because I'm going to get back up and I'm going to chase down everything. And it puts a lot of pressure on you when your opponent is doing that type of thing.
Yeah, you need to have that. Well, good squash players to have that fighting spirit. They don't give up until the end. So you need that.
1-0.
Well, Edgar being a bit cheeky there and assuming he was going to get a stroke, but George thinking he should have played it. The referee called yes let.
Yes let, 1-0.
Both players have their teams behind them here. The whole English team is sitting in the stands, and in the Del Bosque corner you have a mixture of South American, Central American players helping him out.
That's a great touch.
Yes let.
And it's a let.
2-1.
Well, the referee thought that Parker would get that.
From the left.
Edgar's not so sure.
2-1 from the left.
Knowing look towards his coach. Well, got a bit of announcement going on here.
Yeah, someone lost the keys to their Toyota.
Okay, well, we've got a Scotch bench on. Not worried about your Toyota. Well, that's a great
Handout.
backhand drive. I don't think, even if Parker had read that, he would have had a chance of getting it back. So well hit.
I really feel like the Englishman has to get back to the basics, really find his length, like at the beginning, and then control the game from the middle.
So to Zayas. 3-2.
Needs to really control the rally again. Try and slow it down slightly, get it tighter, closer to the wall.
3-2.
It certainly looks like the Mexican's confidence is growing point by point. And at the moment, the Englishman
Yes, left. 3-2.
looking a little frustrated after such a flying start. 11-4 in the first.
4-2. Handout. 3-4.
Very good.
Again, it seems it's quite fascinating that it's the Englishman that's hitting balls into the forehand corner winning points, and the Mexican that's getting most of his points from the backhand corner. There it is again, pretty much a perfect length. There it is, the backhand side for the Mexican.
No, that
Really is
5-4.
producing most of his points from that area of the court. And his team in the England corner will be aware of that, and they'll be advising him.
Down.
That's a sloppy giveaway there. Maybe a little frustration creeping in. That's a loose ball.
7-4.
Yeah, the head's beginning to drop from Parker now.
Yes, left.
I really don't see the reason why. There's no reason to be frustrated with the refs. He really has to go back to what he was doing so well in the first game and control the Mexican player. Brilliant. That was a very good rally
5-7.
from both players, but from George Parker especially at the end.
Five, 7.
This testing rally. Both players trying to create an opportunity. And again, there's that backhand from the Mexican. Gets Parker in trouble, but he's back on the tee.
This is a huge rally right now.
Oh man. A little boost there from the Mexican. I think Parker just misread the bounce of the ball there. It was Wasn't a great shot from
8-5.
Edgar, but
It's just good enough.
now a 3-point lead, 8-5. Again, that triple boast.
9-5.
So it seems that Edgar's found a couple of plays that are working for him, and he's just
10,
seeing them
5.
through,
Game ball.
and that gives him game ball. So from 1-0 up, Parker is looking down the barrel at 2-1 here, from 5 game balls to the Mexican. And that's it.
Team Zayas.
So just dropped the racket, thrown into the corner in disgust.
2 games
And
to 1.
the English squad are going to have to help Parker regroup. While Zayas del Bosque will come out in this 4th game for sure, looking to continue his good work. And it's that forehand corner that has produced most of the points for the Englishman, and the backhand corner for the Mexican. The confidence seems to be flowing through Edgar's play, his body language. He's touching the ball really well. That was the yes-let decision there that Edgar was questioning. But again, he didn't question it for very long. He respected the decision by the referees, got back in there, got focused, carried on his work. So you see here, this backhand side, well, it's a stroke situation there, but all the points for the Mexican coming from either that side. A couple of trickle boasts at the front, again over onto the backhand. So what is Parker going to do in reply? Let's find out.
Zayas leads 2 games to 1. Love all.
So the prediction of my colleague here in the commentary box was a 3-1 win to the Englishman, and I have to tell you, Conrad, that's not possible any longer.
I know.
So you won't be winning a beer out of this match. However, my prediction
Still stands.
still stands, yes. But Parker's got a lot of work to do, and that isn't going to be the sort of thing he's going to be able to afford to do very often.
No, Zayas del Bosque is really playing. It's getting stronger and stronger from every rally that he wins.
It's a lovely touch.
Roulette. Hand
The
out
Bosque
2-1.
went the wrong way. And,
You were worried that it was another power cut.
yeah, I was wondering, we did have a couple of problems with the power early in the week. Nothing major, but I think they just dimmed the house lights so that the court illuminates better on the inside. So Parker has the early lead. What he has to do now is to hold that lead and try and level this match up. The long drop there. Del Bosque on it,
Del Bosque
chasing around, but he's not.
He fell over again in that left front corner.
Right box.
don't know if it's something to do with the floor or
I think the drop from Parker was so good that it was the only way he could get his racket onto it was to throw himself at it.
Hand out, 2-4. 2.
Well, that's always the danger when you're looking for that big winner, flirting with the 10.
sometimes the easiest ball is the hardest one.
Well, he had the choice of the whole court, that's for sure.
Yeah,
As
when
you
you
say, it's sometimes easier if you've only got the choice of 1 or 2 shots and not half a dozen.
Exactly. And to be honest, when playing squash, you really don't have time to think. The game is so fast. You have to know before you play it what you're gonna do. You can see the Egyptian players just so instinctual and they just react. They seem like they don't have any plan. They probably have a plan that they play with, but
that's a tight long drive into the backhand corner. And yeah, the 4-1 lead was starting to be chipped away at by the Mexican, but Parker fighting to keep that lead and try and push over the line to level the match. That is a beautiful drop.
6-3.
And again, when you play that type of shot and you play it so well, it gives you so much confidence to play your whole repertoire of shots. And you know you're feeling the ball that well.
Down. 7-3.
Englishman squeezes another point for the Mexican, extends his lead. 4 points ahead, 4 points needed.
Right box.
this is a really good game from George Parker. He got back to controlling the Mexican player and just finishing off with nice touches at the front.
That's a stroke.
Parker 8-3.
The lead is just being extended, and now the confidence that the Mexican was exuberating before.
Edgar looks just a little bit tired now.
8-3.
That's a lovely shot straight into the backhand neck. Absolutely beaming with confidence now, the Englishman. He's still got to concentrate. 9-3, it's a big lead, but you have to finish these matches, or finish these games, should I say, positively and strongly. And lovely hands, a little flip cross court, took all of the pace off the ball.
Game ball.
And now, similarly to the first game, which he took 11-4, he takes the fourth game 11-3. And the match now stands at 2-2. And, well, mouth-watering prospect in this fifth. Parker takes the lead in the first game. Del Bosque wins 2 to take the lead, and then Parker fights back to 2-all. Who's your money on now? You could send us a tweet. If you're on Twitter, hashtag WJSC2013. Send us your predictions and a little message you want to give us here in the commentary box. We see here the Mexican falling around on the court there, but it's just because of the quality. And first of all, the long drop on the backhand there from Parker, and then immediately the ball retrieved by the Mexican, put into the opposite front corner. It's just so hard to recover and to get across to play the next shot when your opponent is hitting the ball just that well. So the momentum with the Englishman. Can the Mexican
15 seconds.
get back to the winning ways in the 2 games he won? It's the final game. We're going to find out very soon.
Time. Two games all. Parker to serve. Love all.
So we're back for the 5th game of this match.
And well, if Parker continues in the vein he did in the 4th game there,
Yes, let.
then that'll be a beer that you owe me, Conrad.
Yeah, I know.
So I guess you're cheering the Mexican on at this stage.
Definitely.
Well, it's been a strange match in the respect that
Get up.
both players have had
Decision on the pickup. Undecided. Would you play a let, please? Play a let on your
Play
pickup.
let. I think though that first rupture that went in after the Mexican played
Play
it,
a let on the pickup.
George's pickup was, in my opinion, from what I've seen on the screen, was
Love all. Play on. Just let. Love all.
and that's absolutely superb. Great hands. Hardly a bounce on the ball there, it's just died on the floor. And it's that backhand drive from the Mexican, that's a big weapon.
1-all.
Parker's going to have to watch that. He pretty much cancelled it out in the last game, but the target he finds there is,
Just let. 1-all.
if it goes past Parker, it's just simply not coming back on that side. And now an unforced error.
2-1.
both players know that this is now or never, so they're both putting their best efforts now. I can really see the difference between Zayas Del Bosque in this game and the previous one. He's
Just
really
let.
up for it.
2-1.
There's a different energy about him.
Yeah.
His body language as well is different. He's straight away walking to the service box, ready to be serving. I must say, in this game, the squash got a lot better than the previous one.
Yep. Well, as we said before, this is a plate final, but you know, these players are playing some top draw squash.
This is the special plate final.
The special plate, yeah, of course, as opposed to the not so special plate.
Not just the normal.
And the consolation plate.
Consolations plate is.
The consolation plate is the one you've lost quite a lot, but still won eventually, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one I'd probably be in. Boy, I wish I could play this standard of squash. It's been quite inspiring this week to see the future of squash, which is exactly what we are watching, the future stars of the game, gaining their experience.
Just have to keep our fingers crossed that squash is going to get into the Olympics in September.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll hear the decision and then it's all come back into training.
Massive boost for the sport, for sure.
That'll be brilliant.
Everyone's hoping that the IOC grant squash their rightful place amongst the other great sports.
Squash definitely deserves it. That's a beautiful touch. Volley drop shot in the corner.
It was an important point. 4-1 down in the final game. Well, Bosque just getting the eyewear, doing a little bit of football skills.
2-4.
It wasn't very tight. It's a little bit too wide for the referee's liking, and he gives a stroke.
Edgar just has to get out of this, get out of that decision out of his mind and focus.
Yep. There's no time for fretting over that. It wasn't a great shot, and that, well, it's a superb pickup. He can't do it a second time though. So hard to go into those corners, come out and go back in a second time.
It was just solid play from George Parker, really using the corners.
Been called not up.
That was a very good drop shot from the Mexican. He got on it straight away. Gave no time for the Englishman to recover. This match has been just over 45-minute mark now.
That is one of those balls that we've seen all this week on this court. Get the pace right into those corners. Even the best retrievers in the game are going to struggle to do anything with it. 5-all. 2 all in games. Tense moments.
Yes, late 5-all.
5-0 in the 5th game.
Yes, late 5-all.
Now, of course, for one of these players, it's an important match to win. But for the commentator, it's an important beer to win if the result goes the right way.
Down.
It's just unfortunate that Scott Parker put it down.
Yeah. No, I mean it's been a great match, great contest. It's just who can hold their nerve and really push ahead in these final stages. Both players have shown that they have the ability to control this match. It's just who's going to take control of it at this final stage.
This rally's turning out to be a fairly long one.
That's that attacking boast from the Mexican that was giving him some success earlier on. He's brought that back in.
He uses it really well to move Parker around the court.
Yeah, it's almost like he'd forgotten that was one of the ways he was winning points, and now all of a sudden the lights come on and he's gone, oh yes, I remember that one. So, Mexican now 2 points clear. Feel the
Mr. Parker, behave yourself, please.
That was in this.
Decision, please. No let.
well, the referee
8-5.
not liking the aggression coming from the
right.
Englishman.
8-5 from the right.
Giving no let,
8-5.
saying that the ball, the Mexican was too good, and now 3-point lead, 8-5.
Very important rallies now. George Parker, he really needs to get that last point behind him and focus on
Leave it.
as
Yes,
a
led.
little bit of traffic around the court.
Gentlemen, this is a no-contact sport. Let's keep it like that, please.
The referee is just saying this is a
8-5.
non-contact sport, and please keep it that way.
Yeah. Well, it's going to get edgy, but you
5.
just feel that the Mexican's going to really attack, because with a 3-point lead, he can afford to take a few risks and really try and demoralise the Englishman.
Really use one of those rallies to put as much work into George Parker's legs down the middle.
It's always a dangerous shot down the middle if your opponent's ready with their racket. It's an instant stroke, but
That was the post I was talking about.
Decision on the... Could you play a let, please?
And decision is to play a let.
Parker can't believe it. He
Play a
knows
let,
it came
please.
off the tin. I know it came off the tin as well.
Undecided. Play a let.
So the referees
Yes, undecided.
couldn't see
Play a
it.
let, please.
The member of our volunteer team is going
8-5
to
from the
wipe
right.
the floor, but George just lying down.
Well, I just saw the replay there, and it quite clearly clipped the top of the
Mr.
tin.
Parker, a decision.
And Parker had the best view in the house for that one. He's appealing to the referee, but they won't change their mind. He needs to control himself. The referees have been clearly told to stamp out any dissent from the players after some of the incidents from yesterday's
8-5.
semi-finals. So it's a let ball. And look, the emotion of Parker. That will be a stroke.
Yes, let.
Wow.
8-5. From the right.
I'm not sure I agree with that one, Conrad. I don't know about you. It was an awful trickle boast.
Yeah, but initially George still went wrong way.
Well,
So
he went forward and...
5.
well, anyway, it's a let. Doesn't matter what I think.
Just hope it doesn't turn ugly
No.
this end of the match.
And that, well, he was thinking about smashing the racket there. That that will get the conduct warning.
5.
So the Mexican looking strong. The Englishman looking angry.
That's a
And
long
out.
drop too,
That's what he needs to do, is play squash,
6-9.
good squash. And now.
Edgar just has to stay solid in this fifth game and try and move.
Incredibly tight. And George is running. This is great retrieving. And he has to. He really doesn't want to be giving the Mexican
Edgar.
4 match balls.
Yeah, Edgar's just looking back at the referee, just
He's going, my God,
appealing something.
how did that come back? Yeah.
Please tell me.
It's great work by the Englishman to be back in this rally.
This rally's
If he
huge.
can
though.
win it. Looking to kill it. There's the drop from the Mexican. Cross court. Neither player able to squeeze. Oh, and that's gone out of court. And up comes match ball
And out.
for the Mexican.
10-6.
4 match balls.
Match ball.
For Edgar Zayas, the Bosque of Mexico.
Ten 6. Match ball.
A little bit of humour to lighten the mood.
Down court, please.
So court cleaners being brought in. But Parker knows he's got a mountain to climb to save 4 match balls and stay in this contest.
Thank you.
And
10-6.
Del Bosque will want to
Match ball.
finish this on the first one. Attacking play from Parker. Smashes it in the nick.
And out. 7-10.
1 match ball saved.
ball. Down.
And it's hit the tin.
Game and match Zayas 3-2.
And the match goes to the Mexican, Edgar Zayas del Bosque. A great match. Takes it 3-2.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for both of the players, George Parker of England and our winner, Edgar Zayas del Bosque.
Zayas lead wins 4-11, 11-6, 11-5, 3-11, 11-7.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be moving on with our next match in about 5 minutes' time. Quick comfort break, 5 minutes' time before we bring on our next match, the girls' special plate, which will start at approximately 4:15. Thank you.